It is time for another edition of the Fight HQ podcast. Of course, I am Jason Floyd. It is a day of UFC 321, which kicks off here in about 70 minutes from now. We're going to be live all the way up till 10 a.m. each time. Getting ready for UFC 321. Of course, as always, I am joined by the fighter, Pete Rogers Jr. Pete, it's been a long time since we've done the day of fight stream.
Yeah, I almost like it better, right? I mean, because all the changes are done for the most part, hopefully. And then we get to take some listener questions. We know who made weight, who missed weight. And then we can start to really talk about the lineup construction too, right? From a true DFS standpoint. So maybe we'll start making this a permanent thing. I mean, that's totally based on our schedules, but I will tell you, Jason, and I think you know this, that I did end up, quitting my job, and I am full go on the gym. So this week has been crazy. So I'm a little behind on stuff, but I feel like my time will be put to good use, and I'll definitely be able to put out some more content and really focus on the podcast also.
So to kind of give a little insight to what was happening before we went live here on YouTube, X, and Facebook, is me and Pete were kind of talking about some of our thoughts on this card. And, one of the things, and we're going to break down every fight here, also get to all your questions that you do have here. To me, here's just kind of my couple of my thoughts here. The main event, if you tell me this hits round 3, the more and more I do look at rostering and betting Ciryl Gane. I think if you tell me this fight's over within 10 minutes, I think this is Tom Aspinall all day long there. I think the wrong person is favored in the co-main event. I understand that the UFC and a lot of people are probably praying that Mackenzie Dern wins and becomes the UFC strawweight champion, but I actually think 𝗲𝗁 should be the favorite in that matchup. From a DFS perspective, even though from a fight aspect, I'm really interested to see Umar and Batista, I think from a DFS aspect, I just don't think that's a fight that's going to score well. I like the value of Alexander Volkov in the situation he is, especially when you look at the DraftKings price of 7,400. That one sticks out to me. Those are some my little main thoughts I had for Pete before the show.
Yeah, I would agree with you, right? I mean, I think everybody and their brother wants Mackenzie Dern to win. I mean, she's a beautiful girl. She's so talented. She's exciting. She's not a staller. She's not the best striker in the world, but she goes out there and she throws some heat. And when it hits the mat, she's vicious with her submission attack. So she's exciting and she's marketable, right? Like the stalling type of style, the blanket type of style of 𝗲𝗁 is not really the best. The best thing for the UFC from a product standpoint, but you cannot deny how good her wrestling and her top grappling is. And as far as the main event, there are some questions. Obviously, I've been touting Tom Aspinall for years now before he even became the champion. My two big flag plants were 𝗲𝗁 Chimaev and Tom Aspinall. Alexander Romanov didn't really work out, but these two others did. And, I will say that there are some questions regarding one of my favorite fighters in the world in Tom Aspinall outside of round 1, outside of round 2. How does he look? How does he deal with another big athletic guy? And most heavyweights are not athletic. And Ciryl Gane is definitely athletic, even though he is missing some skills in the grappling and wrestling department. I mean, he is developing. He's a fantastic striker. And, I do feel like he is a little underrated in this matchup. I was kind of surprised to see how wide the odds are, but I guess not. But and then for the rest of the card, right, like big implications in a Nurmagomedov Batista fight, not really a fight for DFS that I'm going to circle and smash. But as far as division, I think it's a very important one. And for the rest of the card, some closely contested bouts and closely lined fights.
Yeah, there is some fights on the prelims I think could be interesting. I mean, we've got a very low level heavyweight fight, and I was telling Pete right before the show, Chris Barnett, who's a Tampa Bay area guy, I didn't even realize he was still in the UFC. And I feel like this happens more and more just because of the amount of UFC fights that we do have. Is sometimes you kind of forget of who may actually still be in the UFC. Coach, I appreciate the super chat there. Of course, if you got any questions, be sure to line those up in the chat, as we'll take those as we go throughout the show. But let's get right in and break down these fights here. Aspinall Gane is our main event. Of course, this will be the first title defense for Tom Aspinall since becoming the unified champion when John Jones vacated the title. And by the way, I think a lot of people have seen that clip that was on Tom Aspinall's YouTube channel of him just doing DC dirty of that live mic situation, even though I don't think DC's wrong. I think DC is probably very accurate, but not good when you're a UFC commentator to be put for that stuff to be put out there in a public forum here. But Aspinall, priced at 9,400 DK. Gane, he's at 6,800 on the FanDuel side of the equation. Ton of value on Ciryl Gane at $12 when you're talking about typically how FanDuel prices main events. $23 for Aspinall. Aspinall coming here as a 4-1 betting favorite, plus 300 on the other side for Ciryl Gane. And and I was telling Pete this. I think. Look, I think the Tom Aspinall will likely win here tonight. I think it'll probably look fairly easy. For me, I can't trust Gane in the takedown aspect, even though you don't look at Tom Aspinall as Mr. Wrestler. But if you tell me this thing hits round 3, round 4, round 5, the more and more I get interested in Ciryl Gane.
Yeah, I mean, there are question marks about Tom Aspinall because the only time that he's been stretched beyond the early rounds was earlier in his career, and he's definitely developed, and he's the more well-rounded fighter in this matchup. So, to be as well-rounded as he is as a heavyweight is very rare, similar to a Cain Velasquez, where Cain was just a complete package, excellent aggressive striking, good wrestling, good grappling too, underrated grappling, and I'll say the same thing about Tom Aspinall. A lot of these guys within the division are not athletic, so he has that advantage immediately, and he will be looking at a very athletic opponent in Ciryl Gane. We've seen some fundamental errors from Gane when it is on the mat, a little too complacent to be on his back, going up and attempting some low percentage techniques instead of prioritizing getting back to his feet. The movement on the feet I'm really excited to see this matchup because I actually think Ciryl Gane can give Tom Aspinall some issues. Tom Aspinall keeps his hands somewhat low, but his chin is high in the sky, and when he connects, people fall. But I mean, the movement and the evasiveness and the Muay Thai of Ciryl Gane could really, really change some things. But when you talk about preparation, Tom Aspinall has been training with Rico Verhoeven, one of the best fighters ever in the kickboxing realm of things. So he's definitely going to be prepared, and any lazy kicks could result in a takedown. And we've seen Tom Aspinall, when he gets on the mat or he gets his opponents down, the submission skills really separate from the rest of the division. So that's kind of how I'm foreseeing this. Yes, this could end up being a very competitive striking matchup. Hopefully, Tom Aspinall doesn't fatigue over time. But I'm still going to back him here just because I think that it's a lot to really patch some holes as quickly as we're expecting Ciryl Gane to. And it's Ciryl Gane will be a guy that I will be circling for future as he needs to truly, truly develop. There's been videos of him training with Nasruddin Imavov, who's, a middleweight, and he's getting ragged all and taken down. And this is a situation where I think Aspinall is going to have to really have a gut check and go to not just one takedown, not just one combination. I think it's going to, Gane's going to make him work. And then we're actually going to be able to see the true skill set, similar to how Tom Aspinall showcased it against Alexander Volkov. So, I'm picking Aspinall here. I think it's going to end on the mat, whether it's via submission or via ground and pound. But I think just the top pressure is something that me as a coach and a fighter, I would be really, really hammering home to my fighter saying, hey, we get this guy down. He's a completely different guy on his back. And we saw that in the John Jones fight. We saw that in the Volkov fight. We've seen it in the Francis Ngannou fight. So, give me Tom Aspinall here.
I mean, the one thing I continue to go back to, and yes, it was at this point, I think 3 years ago at this point, but we saw Francis Ngannou on two knees that needed to be surgically repaired, be able to take Gane at will. We saw what John Jones did. Yes, Aspinall's not the grappler that John Jones is, but I just look at it and say, if I'm the coach of Tom Aspinall, how is this not a major part of the game plan of, hey, let's use our strikes, let's get this fight to the ground, because we just, he's got to show us that he can defensively wrestle, and that's a concern with me. I mean, and then you look at it, but the one question I would say is I do have on Tom Aspinall is, what happens if this hits minute 16? Yeah. What if it happened at 21, 22? I mean, just when you go to UFCstats.com, average fight time, Tom Aspinall 2 minutes and 2 seconds. Ciryl Gane 14 minutes and 15 seconds. We know that Gane has 25-minute cardio, but look, Tom may not necessarily need 25 minutes. He may only need 2 minutes. I mean, that's just
Right.
that's the way it is. I mean, from a DFS perspective, I think Gonz, he's a boomer bust play. If you put him in your lineup because you want to save some salary, I don't mind that. But to me, I think I would probably just start my lineup with Tom Aspinall and thinking that he's going to go out there and get me in a win 105 to 115.
Yeah, and I think that the ceiling could be even more depending on how much Gon makes him work. Obviously, it could be a quick win bonus. It could be round one, but I'm giving Gon more respect than that. I was very surprised by the lines, so I do think that there is some value. And also, there's a chance that this does go 25 minutes, which I know is like rare for a heavyweight division. But when you talk about two highly skilled fighters, maybe Aspinall doesn't want to gas himself out, and this could be a complete performance and one that I would probably sprinkle just on it going the distance for either fighter. But obviously, when it hits the mat, I see just a significant gap in skill.
And this could very well be a great live betting opportunity. Last week, the main event ended up being a great live betting opportunity if you took Brandon Allen after the first round, because RDR looked so great in the opening round. I want to say Brandon Allen was like plus 475, if not more, after the opening round. So that to me is something to look at there. I would say this, from the prop aspect, I don't mind taking a sprinkle on Aspinall wins be a sub at plus 300.
Yeah, I like the sub line. I do like the sub line. I mean, in my personal opinion, I think that Tom Aspinall is a better grappler than John Jones. I don't think he's a better wrestler than John Jones. And a kid in Tom Aspinall who's been training jiu-jitsu essentially his entire life. We've seen him attempt arm attacks. We've seen him go a straight arm lock. We saw the beautiful blast double leg against Andre Arlovsky, had him against the cage. It was right into a rear naked choke. So I think that the variety in submission skills is there to make Tom Aspinall's submission prop, extremely live.
Let's move over to our co-main event. It'll be for the vacant women's strawweight title. You got Jandiroba taking on Mackenzie Dern. Mackenzie Dern priced at $8,600 on DK, $16 on FanDuel. Jandiroba, she's priced at $7,600 DK, $11 on FanDuel. I mentioned this right at the beginning of the show. I think the wrong fighter is favored in this one. Jandiroba plus 125, Dern minus 155. Now, the 5-round nature of it, I think, could lead you to say why you would look at Mackenzie Dern, especially, Jandiroba with what her age is at. We've seen her kind of wear down in some fights here, but, to me, I think it's a coin flip fight in my view, Pete.
Yeah, I mean, I do too. And I was surprised to see that the DraftKings salary and just the betting market has Dern as a minus 150, 8,600 favorite. So, I know who the better wrestler is in this situation, and it is Virna Jandiroba. I mean, for all the years of Mackenzie Dern focusing and putting her efforts into her striking, I've been telling you for the longest, she needs to complement her grappling with dominant wrestling, and that's exactly what Virna Jandiroba has done. Jandiroba is a blanket suffocating grappler who's excellent on top. So top position grappler for Virna Jandiroba. She probably will engage in the grappling a little bit more in this rematch than she did in the first one. And then just like as far as submission skills, she's equivalent. I still think that Mackenzie Dern has an edge there. But I think that she can avoid, because of her jiu-jitsu knowledge, avoid some of the stuff. Mackenzie Dern very good in the Amanda Rebus fight, threatening for an armbar, which resulted in the sweep to get on top, land some ground and pound, and then go back to the armbar. All that can happen, right? Like Mackenzie Dern's jiu-jitsu is absolutely top of the top notch. But for me, it comes down to who's the better wrestler, because I just know what Jandiroba is going to do. She doesn't fight how she used to. She doesn't go out there and try to kickbox. She, immediately initiates grappling. And, even though Dern will probably try to take her down too, because she has faith in her grappling, I think Dern can somewhat be a little too comfortable off of her back playing jiu-jitsu in an MMA fight. I mean, for the girl that we all want to win is Mackenzie Dern. I mean, she's marketable. She's beautiful. She's fantastic. She's got a nice personality. But I see the line, and I just see tremendous value. I actually don't mind stacking this fight. And I know that that's like a contrarian approach, and it's not like they're priced great. But because I do expect it to go 25 minutes, and one where it could be back and forth, I'm going to say that I'm going to lean with the better wrestler here, and that's 𝗲𝗁𝘁𝑗 at 7,600.
Yeah, I'm with you in terms of that as well. I mean, the only thing that does concern me is the 5-round nature of this matchup. That, if Jandiroba, is she going to have, the gas tank when we hit round 4, round 5? I mean, because I would expect that the likely scenario is that this thing is going to hit the championship rounds. And, how many times over the years of us doing the show, when we talk about jiu-jitsu practitioners, that we say their wrestling is not good. That they don't, sometimes you look at, like, I almost relate this sometimes with wrestlers who fall in love with their hands, and sometimes they just kind of forget what they're really good at, and I look at Mackenzie Dern, I just say, like, what if you were just sitting there and you were at a wrestling gym and that's all you did? How good could she potentially be there in terms of that? So do appreciate all the super chats that are coming in. Eli asking about an update on Patreon. I'll tell you this right now: if you're watching this on video, you might see Pete doing a little work over here.
Yeah, dude. I tell you, I've been sick, so I'll definitely have it out. I'm doing it right now. But I've been sick. I've been behind on stuff, and this week's been crazy. But I'll be posting it momentarily. But yeah, it definitely, and the early start time kind of screwed me completely up.
Hey, you know what? I don't mind the early start time. By the way, just put the link to the DraftKings contest in the chat if you want to get into that contest as well. By the way, someone asked about who does Pete like in the main event. He likes Tom Aspinall in the main event. I think, but it is, just kind of looking at it from a DK ownership aspect of it. Kind of looking. I mean, Ciryl Gane's still getting a decent amount of ownership for someone in the 8,000 range. But I'll say this: I think that the value in the 9K range is actually going to be on somebody we're about to talk to, and that's Umar Nurmagomedov taking on Mario Batista. Nurmagomedov priced at 9,600 on DK, $22 on FanDuel. Batista's priced at 6,600 on DK, $8 on FanDuel. Umar a minus 650 betting fair, plus 450 for Batista. I know at one point this week Umar was at minus 700 here, and Umar talked about this week that Dana White has told him that, hey, you want to be next in line after Jan for a title shot, go out and prove it to us here. But me and Pete are both, because we were talking about this right before the show, from a DFS aspect, I don't like this fight for what could be where the ceiling could be for this fight.
Yeah, I don't think it's a DFS friendly fight. And, like all this, go out there and be exciting. I'm going to be exciting, guarantee him a title shot. I don't think it's possible for either one of these guys to really be all that exciting. Outside of Umar Nurmagomedov's lead leg, question mark kick, I just don't see an exciting fighter. I mean, his grappling, an appreciation standpoint, I appreciate his skill. He's dominant. He's very, very good. And I think that his striking is, some of the best, a part of the Khabib team, if not the best. But we've seen some close fights, even short notice replacements, giving Umar some trouble. So if everybody thinks that, Mario Batista is going to come in here and just get smoked in 2 seconds, I'd be surprised. I would be very surprised. I think that Mario Batista just doesn't get the recognition or the respect because he's somewhat boring. But, he's another wall installer. But I think that he's met the better wall installer here in Umar Nurmagomedov. And I just don't see this fight really translating into a necessity, a part of the DFS scores. But yeah, give me Umar Nurmagomedov here. I think that he will end up on top a little bit more. He will be able to reverse some positions, and his hard, heavy kicks will influence the judges. And, I think he'll have a lot of not necessarily hometown favoritism, but I think that everybody there is going to be expecting Umar Nurmagomedov to walk away with the victory.
When I was putting my spreadsheet together with, the DFS lines and also the betting lines, I was kind of hoping maybe there'd be a little bit of a better number of Umar to win via decision. That's at minus 165. It's not a great number there, even though I think that's a likely scenario how this thing does play out here. I mean, look, if you want to roster Batista just as a low-end option and you think he can go out there and, let's just say, get you 30 points, I'm not against it. Especially if you're looking at getting to some of these, high 8,000, 9,000 options here. But overall, my thought is I just don't think this is going to be a great score for DFS. I mean, It wouldn't surprise. I mean, now, if your thought process is, hey, I'm looking at ownership and I'm going, you know what, when 9,000 range, people aren't getting to Umar like they're getting to the rest of those 9,000 options. If that's your thought process, I don't mind that thought process.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's just a contrarian approach. And it could be we've seen him knock out people in the past with a beautiful knee up the middle. I'm expecting him to land a head kick KO one of these days. But I think that Batista's skilled enough defensively to avoid getting finished. So, or at least early on. And at that price tag, it's like, all right, well, you need absolute dominance. You need like takedown city, or you need an early finish. And I just like some other options a little bit better.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now, as I'm over at DraftKings, the captain contest ain't looking great, bro. I'm just saying, ain't looking great with these salaries.
Yeah, I haven't even looked at it. What's the
So if you want Aspinall at the captain position, that's 13,800, which he would be the second most expensive fighter in the captain contest as the captain. Umar at 14.4, Askarov 12.9, Almeida 12.6. I would say this: the Almeida as a captain, I'd be a little concerned. Mm-hmm. I know we're about to we're actually gonna get that fight now, because this is another one where, to me, it's about the pricing of this fight with Alexander Volkov and Jailton Almeida. Almeida at 8,800, Volkov at 7,400. That's on DK. Over on FanDuel, you got Almeida $17, $13 for Volkov. And you look at the betting lines here, minus 180 for Almeida, plus 145 for Alexander Volkov. I mean, look, you kind of feel bad for Volkov and what happened in that Gane matchup, but this is one of those things where I think it's more about the pricing aspect, which gets me interested in Volkov.
Yeah, I mean, I think the price tag on Volkov is 7,400. It makes lineup construction a little easier, right? This is one where it's pretty binary. You know what Almeida's going to look to do. Almeida's going to look to take Volkov down immediately. He's going to throw a front kick like he does every fight, and he's going to shoot a takedown. And Volkov's going to do his best Chuck Liddell sprawl and brawl impression to go out there and keep the fight on the feet. I mean, significant gap in skill on the feet for Volkov, but the reverse can be said in the grappling and wrestling. Not necessarily the wrestling. I take that back. In the grappling of Almeida and Volkov. I think Volkov's, developed, and he's not just a kickboxer. He's got very, very good submission skills. It's just if he's on his back, I worry about the overpowering Jailton Almeida, kind of getting some control time on him, limiting the upside of Volkov. And then it comes down to, all right, well, who had the most damage in that round, or was the control better than the damage? You know what I mean? So it's going to come down to, in my opinion, one of those types of decisions. And I could see Volkov getting screwed again. But with all that being said, at 7,400, I mean, I have him circled as a guy that can defend some takedowns, can butcher Almeida on the feet, can put Almeida on his back even by sprawling and spinning around and hitting him with some elbows and some shots. I mean, look what he did to Alexander Romanov. And I think Volkov's just significantly, underappreciated in this fight. And I just don't trust Almeida, right? Like, Almeida was cruising, doing great against Curtis Blades. Obviously, it's Curtis Blades dominating him, and then goes out there, kind of gasses a little bit, and then ends up getting hit with some ground and pound while he was just sitting there, holding his head there. Getting hit with some elbows and hammer fists. And I mean, why can't that happen? Why can't that happen here? Why can't Volkov replicate that? So the submission skills significantly favor Almeida. The wrestling is closer than I think people think. I don't think Volkov's getting enough credit as where he's developed. But the striking all day long, Volkov will beat the shit out of Almeida. So that's exactly why at 7,400, I have him circled as one of the values that I do not mind getting to. But like I said, the issue is if you're on your back getting controlled for a significant amount of time, I mean, your upside's capped, Jason. You know what I mean? Like, I can only score so many points if I don't find a finish.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things that you look at with Volkov is that takedown defense, which is at 72%. He was taken down 2 times in his last matchup against Ciryl Gane. Prior to that, you have to go back to 2022 against Tom Aspinall when he was taken down 2 times. Then the one that you do look at Volkov where it didn't do well is you got to go back to 2020 when he was taken down 14 times by Curtis Blades in that one. I mean, I think the question I would have with Jailton Almeida, outside of the main event he had against Derek Lewis, all of his UFC fights, have hit it in the first or second round. That would be kind of my concern is, what happens if this thing hits min 11, 12, 13, 14? Can maybe the volume really wear down Alexander Volkov? Like, so for me, from a DFS aspect, it's about the pricing of Alexander Volkov, of why I'll tell you he is a core play for me. And it's just because of the pricing, because you gotta find somewhere where you can save money on this card. It's that's just the reality of it. Sam, I do appreciate your super chat. We'll get into your questions about the salary tier here in a little bit. Let's move on. Next up, we got Rakic taking on 𝗲𝗂𝐺. This is a straight up pick of -110 on each side. 𝗲𝗂𝐺, he's priced at 8,300. Rakic is priced at 7,900 on DraftKings. When you look over at FanDuel, it is $14 for Rakic and $15 for 𝗲𝗂𝐺. But Pete, the one thing when you look at the teletape, this one sticks out. And Rakic is a guy that I do kind of wonder if the injuries don't happen the way they've happened. How would the trajectory of his career be different than what it is right now? But to me, it's about that reach advantage we have in this one, where he's got a 7-inch reach advantage.
Yeah, and he also has 13 inches in the height plus reach department. So significant advantage in the size department here against 𝗲𝗂𝐺, and also experience too. Like, Alexander Rakic has fought nothing but the best. But with that being said, Jason, he has lost a lot, and he hasn't had a win in 4+ years. So, 𝗲𝗂𝐺 has been on an absolute heater, beating Nchukwi, Clark, Jacoby, Menefield, and Ribeiro. Not the same types of names that Alexander Rakic has fought in Smith, Santos, Blachowicz, Prochazka, and Ankalaev. But, a guy's winning and has confidence. A guy's losing against top-notch competition. So it's just like, all right, what is 𝗲𝗂𝐺 this legit, or is Rakic going to show him that there's levels? And this is a levels fight where, like, Rakic could go out there and be like, all right, this is a significant step down in competition for me, and I'm going to show you guys. Rakic has put together good rounds against Ankalaev, against Prochazka, against Blachowicz before he got injured. So, Rakic is a guy that I circled a long time ago. I thought that he was probably on his way to become a champion or threatened for the title, and injuries really have derailed his career. And, Jason, I don't know if you have a football comp, or if all our listeners, all 150 that I'm seeing, I'm sure we have more. If you guys have a comp in other sports where, injuries have really derailed this athlete's career, or that it prevented them from really attaining their full potential. And I got to say, I think Rakic fits that bill, right? I'm sure that we can draw parallels to other sports and say significant and say certain names. But yeah, Rakic is a guy that I'm going to back here just because of the strength of schedule. But I wouldn't be surprised if 𝗲𝗂𝐺 was losing 12 minutes of this fight and hits him with a straight left hand that seemed automatic against Ankalaev. And then now 𝗲𝗂𝐺 retains being, an undefeated fighter.
As a Orlando Magic fan, I'll give you a name.
Who?
Jonathan Isaac.
Dude, I love Jonathan Isaac. I played him all the damn time. In DFS.
But he hasn't been able. The thing is, he hasn't been able to stay healthy. He's basically on a minute restriction because of the health. When you brought that up, and I was just starting to kind of think of names, that's the first name that came to my mind.
Yeah, that's a great one. And I'm sure there's even
I'll give
higher
you
up athletes too.
A higher up athlete. I'll stick in the UFC world. Brock Lesnar.
He was a champ. So
no, but when he started to have his health issues, that's when everything went downhill for him.
Yeah. Think what he did with it. Even though he battled some things, he was still able to be dominant. You know what I mean? Like, Rakic hasn't even been able to, he can't get out of first gear.
Coach brings up two great names in the chat, both NBA related: Larry Johnson and Grant Hill. Grant Hill may be one of the best ones.
I like the Grant Hill one. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, it's for Rakic. But you look at these 3 losses, they all have something in common. They've all been UFC light heavyweight champion: Jan Blachowicz, Yuri Prochazka, and Magomed Ankalaev. He's defeated by TKO by Blachowicz in the 3rd round, 2nd round TKO against Yuri, and then losing a decision against Ankalaev. And look, we've not seen him in exactly 1 year, so who knows what he may look like in this matchup. But for me, it's in terms of rostering this matchup, I do look at the racket side of the equation in this one. Next up, we got a lightweight matchup between 𝗄𝗏 and Quinlan. Quinlan, they're both, by the way, kind of the weird thing. We rarely see this on DraftKings. It happens every once in a while. Both priced at 8,100. 𝗄𝗏, a slight betting underdog here at -105, Pete.
Yeah, I mean, this one makes me scratch my head, Jason. And I'll tell you why it makes me scratch my head, because like 𝗏𝗏 had a full camp. 𝗏𝗏 is acclimated to where the fight's taking place. 𝐷𝗲𝐁𝐻's getting this fight on short notice. And he's a volume machine. He really is. He throws with tremendous volume. He attempts takedowns with tremendous volume. 𝗏𝗏, for the most part, is just going to throw hands, just a boxer. Whereas, Quinlan 𝗏𝗏 will go out there and combine the arts. And I think that the jiu-jitsu skill set of 𝗏𝗏 is a little bit ahead of Nasrat Haqparast, despite Haqparast having an experience edge and has been around in the UFC for quite some time. The one thing preventing me from like really being confident is just the short notice nature. I mean, Haqparast full camp, acclimated, 𝗏𝗏 short notice, having to fly and adjust to the time zone, and like what's his training been like? I think in a full camp, 𝗏𝗏 is a guy that I think can catapult his career by beating a Nasrat Haqparast. I think he's that good. This is also a situation where it could be too much too soon. It's an opportunity, and we know that a lot of times these guys accept opportunities when they're not even ready, just because they don't know if I think I can beat this guy. I know I can. But maybe they're just not as prepared as they have been in other fights, and just the timing of everything wasn't correct. With that being said, Jason, I do think that 𝗏𝗏's volume, like even in a loss, outside of getting smoked and knocked out, I think that he can go out there and put together some high scores. So I love the upside of 𝗏𝗏. I don't. It's a slight lean to 𝗏𝗏, and it's not even a heavier lean. Because of all the concerns I mentioned. But I'm excited to see this fight go on. And it hasn't been some time since we've seen 8,100 salaries, which goes to show you that Vegas is concerned too, because they don't seem to really know what's going on.
I mean, the two things that stick out to you is the level of competition that 𝗏𝗏's fought at Rayless. And to kind of further on your point there, we're talking about, hey, you never know when your next opportunity is going to come. Sometimes that could be a situation where the UFC calls up and says, hey, you can take this short notice fight here. If not, hey, you may not fight till December. And
that sucks.
And we also know that from a fighter's aspect of some of that may depend on what the bank account looks like. And,
it's not even somewhat. It's all dependent on that.
Yeah, can you afford to wait another 3 months or get that short notice opportunity? And if you're for him in this situation, yes, it's a notable step up in competition, but really puts you, if you can go out there and get that win, potentially line yourself into a bigger matchup. Next up, got 𝗏𝗏 taking on Park. 𝗏𝗏 priced at $9,000 on DK, $19 on FanDuel, at -230 betting favorite for Park. He's priced at $7,200 on DK, $10 on FanDuel, and he is +180 betting underdog, Pete.
Yeah, I mean, I think 𝗃𝗏 is a popular fighter because of 𝗲𝗏 𝘁'𝗏's success. But we've also seen what Robert Whitaker was able to do. The 𝗃𝗏 early on is so live to knock and finish people. I'm interested to see when the going gets tough if he's able to put together a strong performance, because the Iron Turtle in Jung Young Park, I think, is a very tough task. One where he could just completely out wrestle him and just slam him repeatedly to the mat and just be in the driver's seat of the fight the entire time. But does he have the entire cardio? Does he have the cardio to sustain that pace? And how does he deal with somebody who has good boxing? What happens if the Iron Turtle starts to initiate wrestling and grappling onto him? Jung Young Park is underappreciated, and I think that he's one of the best values out there next to Alexander Volkov. I think from a name standpoint, you see the OV, you see the Nurmagomedov early on in the card, you see Aliskerov. A lot of times people just want to parlay them together and get behind these fighters because the success and the devotion to MMA in that part of the world is unlike anything else. But I will tell you that the Iron Turtle is a guy that I think is live to come back, come from behind, and also just put a pace on you. So I'm going to I think I'm going to be a little different here. I'm going to say that I was expecting the odds to be a little closer. You take the last names out. I think that the odds are closer, whereas,
Uh-huh.
Alex Corral's probably like a minus 170, minus 165 favorite. But seeing him approaching minus 250 is a little wide for me. So I'm going to go with the value here in Jin Young Park and the Iron Turtle.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing is looking from a betting perspective, the plus 575 the win via decision for Park was the
Yeah.
one that when I was putting my sheet together, I was like, ooh, that's kind of an intriguing one. I will say this: if you are prop game hunting, I do think there are some interesting props out there this week in terms of that. Next up, we got Klein 𝗲𝗁𝗃 price is 7,800 DK, $13 on FanDuel plus 110 betting underdog. Klein's price at 8,400 DK, $16 on FanDuel. He is a minus 135 betting favorite, Pete.
Yeah, I mean, I really like 𝗲𝗁𝘁 here. I truly do. I just don't know from a DFS aspect if it's going to translate in a boom play. But I like 𝗲𝗁𝘁. I think that he's grown into his body. He's very physical. His kickboxing's better than Mateusz Rebecki. I think that the kicks, the threatening knees, the elbows, just how much he can damage his opponents in a short amount of time is why I'm going to favor 𝗲𝗁𝘁. Not only that, Rebecki's been in absolute wars. Ones where I'm looking at him going, dude, like that's probably going to take some time off your career. And also, how about have you ever heard of the word defense? Let's have some defense. Let's, like we don't have to take every strike of our opponents to our face. And when you're bloodied, busted up, hurt, you may not get knocked out, but you're getting concussed. You know what I mean? And I'm like sitting to myself saying, not only that, but we've seen Rebecki break the later a fight goes. 𝗲𝗁𝘁's a guy that I truly believe is hitting his stride, and he hasn't taken nearly as much damage. But as I mentioned, I just don't know for DFS if it translates all that well. But I heard some other people within the industry expecting a KO, and honestly, this is kind of like the perfect storm, and one where I do like betting KOs when I see a guy that's taken tons of damage or has been knocked down in a ton of different fights facing a very dangerous opponent. This is one where I would sprinkle on the KO for 𝗲𝗁𝘁. I mean, whether it's a knee up the middle, whether it's a head kick, it could even be cut related, right? Like the scar tissue of Rebecki is starting to accumulate. And I don't know, man. I like 𝗲𝗁𝘁, but for some reason, I think it could be early, competitive early, but Klein takes over as the fight goes on.
When you look at the prop side of this equation, I'd almost rather just take Klein inside the distance over 𝐾𝐬 for what, at least on my book. Inside the distance plus 250, plus 325 for 𝐾𝐬. So I would just play the plus 250 just as a little safe, just in case maybe he knocks down, maybe he submits him. And, it's like, as your dad likes to say, don't let your head be an everless punching bag.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. See, you remember that quote. It's a great quote. And
So, I mean, look, when you look over 4.53, that would be the strikes absorbed per minute for Rebecki, has a striking defense of 55%.
yeah. I mean, it doesn't even all sound that bad, right? Like there's some fighters on here with striking defense a lot worse. Like Jailton Almeida's striking defense is 41%. The Iron Turtle's striking defense, no, Quillen Salkild's striking defense is 45%. But if you go back and you watch the tape, it's like, bro, Mateusz Rebecki is taking some shots. And I think that, it's all a perfect storm for an eventual KO one of these days.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Next up, we got a heavyweight matchup between Walter Walker and Louis Sutherland. Of course, this matchup just coming together here. You look at Walter Walker here. He is a price at 9,100 DK, 7,100 for Sutherland. When I did my sheet, the FanDuel did not have a price tag on it. Walker minus 450 plus 325. And the one thing about Walker, though, at some point, I don't think it's necessarily here, but at some point, continuing to go for leg lock is going to bite you in the ass.
Yeah, I mean, he's good at it, but one of these days underneath a heavyweight, right? Like, can't you see, like, somehow he's attempting a leg lock against Alexander Volkov, and Volkov's just sitting there punching him in the face and ends up TKOing him. I mean, like, you got to be very, very careful. One of the best leg lockers in the world, Gary Tonin, suffered a KO defeat by going for leg locks. And nobody does it better than him. So Mike Musumeci is very good with it too, but he's not fighting in MMA. But yeah, you got to be careful, right? Especially when a heavyweight's punching you in the face with lunchboxes. I think that this is a very nice matchup. I don't think that Sutherland's all that great on the mat. And you know what Walter Walker's doing, going out there to do. He's like a Terminator. He has one mission, and it is clinch up with you and attempt a leg lock. I would love to see some different submission attacks, but similar to like Claudio Puelles, who has, how many knee bars. I mean, this guy is just very, very good at his one thing. And a lot of times when you're threatening somebody's legs, they're tapping early just because they are scared and scared of their knee blowing out and it being the end of their career, which, I mean, I've been heel hooked before. And it was my ankle that went before my knee. So, yeah, I think that the skill gap is significant on the mat, and that's why I think Walter Walker is one of my favorite spend ups on the slate.
Yeah, no, it was when I was creating rosters and I was looking, I was like, oh, how do I make sure I can get Walter Walker in my lineup just because of, I don't have a lot of faith in Louis Sutherland in this matchup. Next up, we got a matchup in the featherweight division. You got Nathaniel Wood taking on Jose Miguel Delgado. Delgado is the favorite here on DK. He's priced at $8,500 on DK, $18 on FanDuel, minus 145 on the money line. Nathaniel Wood priced at $7,700 on DK, $12 on FanDuel. He is a plus 155 betting underdog, and once again reaches something to look at in this matchup, Pete, as you got a 5-inch reach advantage for Jose Miguel Delgado.
Yeah, I mean, Delgado is 5 years younger, and in the height plus reach department, he has 10 inches. And that goes to kind of like back my point that I think Nathaniel Wood is better suited as a bantamweight. I don't think that he's a true featherweight, and this is one where he's been in the featherweight division for some time now. But still, when I look at the frame of him, I say, like, I think he's, and like he might be undersized, or he might be, from a physicality disadvantage, and the skills are always there. Now he's going up against a very heavy hitter in Delgado, and Delgado throws knees, big combinations, and Nathaniel Wood's my guy, so I can totally see him when the going gets tough, looking to grapple a little bit to stay safe. But that chin of his, I think, is going to be a detriment. So I think that Delgado at some point here hurts Nathaniel Wood. We've seen Nathaniel Wood get rocked and dropped countless times throughout his career. And despite the skills, I think that Nathaniel Wood is the more complete skilled fighter. He's just going up against a heavy hitter who is very dangerous early. And Delgado is one where I think that Nathaniel Wood is going to give him the fight that Delgado wants. Delgado's going to lose when he's going up against a guy that tends to wrestle more and or can compete on the feet, but has really good wrestling and grappling in his back pocket. Nathaniel Wood has that, but he's not going to go to it. Like, I just know Nathaniel Wood, he enjoys getting into a firefight. And although I think that the value is nice on him, just because of what he's accomplished in his UFC career versus Delgado being a little early within his development, I still think that the fight that Nathaniel Wood brings to Delgado favors Delgado significantly. So I think Delgado knocks him out here, Jason.
Yeah, when I was looking at roster, I kept looking at Delgado 8,500, going, that one seems pretty interesting to me in terms of that one. And then we got a heavyweight matchup, which, man, this is low level UFC heavyweight action. Let's just call it. I love Chris Barnett. He is such a character. I remember when this guy was fighting here locally in the Tampa Bay region for XFC. But this is low level. Him and Hamdi priced at $9,300 DK, $21 on FanDuel, nearly a 5-1 betting favorite, minus 475. Barnett priced at $6,900 DK, $9 on FanDuel, plus 350 here. Pete, it's just, I feel like we talk about this a lot of times when we talk about the lower end of a fight in a UFC division, where you just go, I don't feel good rostering either one of these fighters.
Yeah, like when I watched Hamdi 𝗛𝗲, I was like, all right, early on against Dontel Mays, that fight was his best fight. Outside of that, he's looked like, what is he doing? Throw punches. Like, sometimes I'm like, like, you're just staring there, or grapple. How about we wrestle? So when I see him being a massive favorite, it's like, golly, good luck picking him. But then I see his opponent and I'm like, yeah, I don't think Barnett's really got the juice anymore. Like, Barnett's got the kicks. he should be able to kick from the outside, chop away, throw some capoeira, taekwondo type of kicks. But outside of that, I just don't think that he's good. I think that he can get out wrestled immediately. I think that he can get punched in the face, TKO'd against the cage, and also just like from an age and wear and tear standpoint, 𝗲𝘗𝘁𝐻 got 7 years on Barnett in a division that is kind of passing Barnett by. So if you look, Barnett's had a ton of more MMA fights than Hamdi 𝗲𝘗𝘁, but I don't think that really matters in 2025 when Barnett is not really doing anything to win fights all that often. So, I mean, 𝗲𝘗𝘁 can go out there and lay an egg because I worry that he just doesn't throw and he doesn't do anything because I think he's scared of getting tired. But he should win this fight. If he doesn't win this fight, he should get cut, truthfully.
I think it would not be shocked if the loser of this fight ends up getting cut. I mean,
what about the winner? Do they cut the winner?
Probably would depend on maybe is this Hamdi's last fight on his contract?
Yeah, I mean,
let
some people go, huh?
So. Yeah, I mean, it's the UFC has just made it very clear that it is about your fighting style, and if you have a fighting style that they view as, hey, that's not going to get someone to tune in to watch you. We there's multiple examples where we've seen fighters get cut because of that. Next up, we got 𝐒𝐻 and Raposo. 𝐒𝐻 priced at 9,200 DK, $20 on FanDuel, minus 450 betting favorite. For Raposo, he's priced at 7,000 DK, $10 on FanDuel. He is a plus 325 betting favorite. If you happen to follow Mitch's manager / coach, Tyson Chartier, he had an interesting tweet yesterday, and because I saw it on my X timeline. I just want to see if I can find it. Yeah, here, where he saw about the missing of weight, where he says Contender Series Hadley missed weight by 2 pounds. UFC 302 Lima missed by 4 pounds, and now Maxim by 3 pounds. Here we go again. Is there anyone else with this type of luck, frustrating SMH emoji fight still on? I will say this. I don't know. I'm not saying I'm getting there from a DFS aspect. But damn, the Raposo plus 700 to win by decision is intriguing to me, Pete. Am I crazy?
Yeah. I mean, I think you might be a little crazy. I think that if anything, bet the split decision for a little bit larger of a betting number. You know what I mean? Because I don't know. I think outside of landing a big overhand, I don't think he's definitely not going to out wrestle 𝐒𝐻 Maxim. 𝐒𝐻 Maxim gave 𝗃𝐢𝐬𝐒𝐻 one hell of a fight, one where the Khabib corner was like really impressed with 𝐒𝐻 Maxim's skills. Outside of losing his debut to Tyson Nam, I think that this guy 𝐒𝐻 Maxim is a guy that hasn't really come into his own. And, I like Mitch Raposo. I think that he is, capable of doing great things. But these matchups that he's getting are very difficult matchups. And I'm just like scratching my head. I just don't understand. And maybe it's a situation of take this or take nothing. So, but yeah, I don't, as much as I would like Mitch Raposo to win here, I just don't see it. I think that Maxim's actually live to take Mitch down a lot. And Mitch is athletic enough to continue to get back to his feet. But also from a submission standpoint, I can actually see 𝐒𝐻 Maxim attempting a submission, and similar to the Ultimate Fighter defeat for Mitch Raposo, similar to the Jake Hadley defeat from Mitch Raposo, I can see Maxim putting together some sneaky high score here. So, but this is a one where like Maxim needs to fight at the level that he showed against 𝗃𝐢𝐬𝐒𝐻. Like, don't come out here too complacent, because that's when another split decision from Mitch Raposo could be incoming. You know what I mean? So I think that Maxim, he should win this fight. He should win this fight. I mean, how do you go, that competitive against 𝗃𝐢𝐬𝐒𝐻? And outside of getting knocked out, like Mitch can knock him out and crack him. But skill-wise, I just think that he's ahead of Raposo everywhere.
And by the way, if you look at the replies on Tyson's tweet, oof, it's brutal. even Jake Hadley responding to it. It's just, yeah, it's and Yana Santos, she responded to as well. And if people remember her last fight, basically she came out and said that she was basically told, you got to take this fight. by the UFC. That's her side of the story. I mean, it's just, like Jake Hadley's response was 1 pound, and I took the fight on 2 weeks' notice. You guys had a choice. You took the fight. There was, but there was also another one, and it's very true, where someone's noting about the struggles the New England Cartel has had in the UFC over the past couple of years, which that is very true. And Raposo is probably a guy that is fighting for his UFC job in this aspect. Then our opening fight of the night is a female matchup in the strawweight division. You got Jacqueline taking on 𝗲𝗁𝘁. Jacqueline, priced at $9,500, the second most expensive fighter on today's slate. 𝗲𝗁𝘁, she's priced at $6,700, DK $9 on FanDuel, plus 325. Betting underdog, 𝗲𝗁𝘁 is $21 on FanDuel, a minus 425 betting favorite. Pete, when I look at the stats, the one stat that sticks out to me is the grappling. 𝗲𝗁𝘁, 2.22 takedowns average per 15 minutes of fighting. And to me is, can she get this fight to the ground? And that's where I think, is she a sneaky DFS play?
I mean, I think that 𝗲𝗁𝘁, whether she's striking or grappling or attempting takedowns, I think that she shouldn't lose to 𝗲𝗁𝘁 Inoue here. 𝗲𝗁𝘁 is one of these rare women MMA fighters that finish a ton of people, similar to like a Jillian Robertson, where it's just like the skill gap when she gets people down is so wide, attempting submissions left and right. And I've also seen her when she gets takedowns. Now, American Top Team's really putting a focus on ground and pound, and I love it because, even if you're a grappler, guess what? Damage, and you can get that damage by just implementing good ground and pound from top position, from half guard to beyond. I think that 𝗲𝗁𝘁's in a good spot here. Inoue has been dealing with layoffs after layoffs. Anytime that you have a significant amount of time away from the cage could lead to development, but it also could lead to a little bit of rust, a little bit of just not being acclimated to the sport. And 𝗲𝗁𝘁's one that's winning against fighters that have been active. So she should absolutely win here against Inoue, but maybe Inoue is too tough to get finished. I don't know, man. I look at 𝗲𝗁𝘁 and it really reminds me of like a Jillian Robertson finishing, upside. So I don't see why she can't get a finish here. But maybe, Inoue's proven to be very, very tough in the past. It's just like that was years ago. So I feel like she could actually be able to get taken out of there in this fight against a hot prospect and 𝗲𝗁𝘁.
Of course, if you do got any questions, you can line those up in the chat here. Let's get our straight up fight picks. We're getting into some listener questions, also answer some super chat questions. Main event, I'm going to go Aspinall.
Yeah, I'm going Aspinall.
Co-main event, give me Verna.
Yeah, give me Verna Jandiroba, but I really want Mackenzie to win.
Umar. I'm going to say Almeida, but from a DFS perspective, I like the value on Volkov.
I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to say Almeida, but I love the value on Volkov.
Give me Rakic. This next one's a tough one for me. I'm going to say Nasrat just because of the strength and competition difference.
I totally get it. I'm going to say Quillan Salkill just because I feel like he's so active.
I'll go Askarov.
I'm going to take a shot on Park here. I think that he can surprise some people at this betting line.
Give me Klein.
Yeah, give me Ladova Klein big time.
Walker.
Give
me Delgado. Hamdy.
Yep.
Maxim. And Jacqueline
𝗲𝗁𝘁.
I know one of the super chats came in earlier was asking about leverage plays in each salary range. When we talk about the 9,000 range, and we got to 7 fighters in the 9,000 range this week. To me, it is Umar and Jacqueline. They are by far. Azat would also be another leverage play. All the other ones are kind of getting fairly decent size ownership.
Yeah, I would say that. Who do I think is the best leverage play? I actually probably would say 𝗲𝗁𝘁 Inoue, but I mean, that's a dart throw. But as for a top end leverage, I want to say Nurmagomedov, but I feel like he's still going to be popular.
Yeah, Umar. I mean, well, in terms of what the other ones are getting, that 9,000 range, obviously Aspinall's getting a ton of ownership. Walker, Ikram's getting ownership. Like, to me, in a 9,000 range, Umar and Jacqueline. In the 8,000 range, it's actually two fighters that I'm kind of interested in. One, Ludwig Klein, just over 20% ownership. Same thing for Nasrat. I mean, between those two, to me, it would be Klein. I'd rather get to get a little salary savings in terms of there. In the 7,000 range, you really got to go to the low end to find the leverage play, which is Sutherland and Raposo. Jana Roba is getting a ton of ownership. So he's actually the third highest owned fighter on this card. I might be, I'd probably go Rakic in this range as a leverage play.
Okay, I don't really like that
either him or Volkov would be the one. And then in the 6,000 range, just because it's heavyweight MMA, Chris Barnett.
Yeah, I think that's fair. That's fair. I mean, he's got like 20 more fights than 𝗲𝗄𝐻𝐻 in his career, so it makes sense to me.
Yeah, just let me go through the YouTube chat here, make sure, see if there's something that maybe I missed here a little bit earlier on. Of course, we do have our DraftKings contest that's already up live. I put the link in the comments, so you can be sure to check that one out there. Sammy asked, when's the last time we had fights this early in the day? I remember we had the RDR Whitaker card, but I want to say that maybe the prelims maybe started like 12 p.m. Eastern time, not 10 a.m. But yeah, probably a year ago when they had this card over there in Abu Dhabi. In terms of that one, Joey going, definitely sprinkling Sutherland in case he just earthquake splashes him once Walker goes for
Yeah, hey, that is true. It is low-level heavyweight, so I mean, he could literally uppercut Walter Walker when he's coming in, or maybe he'd hammer fist him or ground and pounds him while Walker's attempting a takedown. Attempting a leg lock.
Yeah, 7,600 price tag on DraftKings is so nice too. Talking about Verna and Rebecca are my highest owned plays, parking a mix there. That's coming from Mr. Grapefruit in terms of his underdogs. Same with these usual questions, best top plays. For me, it's hard to not put Aspinall in that top play, especially if he does go with the grappling aspect of it. Yep. That is one that really sticks out to me. Other top plays for me, even though I was looking at I'm looking at Walter Walker, but yeah, your concern is at what point does he go for that heel hook leg lock and it bites him in the ass? I
don't think it's this one though, but I agree.
No. Best inside the distance fighters, I go Aspinall. I'd put Jailton Almeida in there. Probably Klein late, maybe second, third round. In terms of that one, you probably got to put Hamdy in there.
He should be able to finish Chris Barnett. I mean, I just don't know if he can.
Best decision, odd fighters. Look, I think Umar likely wins by decision, but it's at minus 165, not really a great number. I think either side of the co-main event, if you're looking to play a decision prop, I don't mind either side of that. Plus 275 for Journa, plus 250 for McKenzie. Look at the ones that maybe stick out to me. Maximum minus 105 decision, probably the scenario goes there. Amarine plus 230 just because it's women's MMA and we just kind of know that's usually how it goes. Top parlays. I probably wouldn't put Aspinall on a parlay just because it's minus 400. I'd probably want to stick Rakic in a parlay for me just because of the price point at minus 110. I might go something like a Delgado minus 145, Rakic minus 110, and I'd probably throw Aspinall at minus 400 just because of the lines on the other two fighters.
Yeah, I mean, I like Aspinall to win. I like Hamdy to win. I like Klein to win. And then Walter Walker. I mean, I really
Yeah.
think that that's a pretty good parlay. I mean, it takes you four fighters to get a decent number, but still, I like all four of those.
Jason P special. Of course, mine's the opening fight of the night. I think it's take Jacqueline or just move on from the fight. There is no A200, 8,000 fight. We have A100 each side this week.
Yeah, so I think that is going to be the Quillen 𝐲𝐽 and the 𝗲𝗲 𝘲𝐽 fight, and I like Quillen just a little bit from a volume standpoint.
In terms of punt plays, top punt plays, I mean, look, 𝗲𝗏 would be the easy choice there. He's going to be the very popular punt play. Park could be an interesting punt play, but he actually is getting a little bit of ownership there.
Yeah.
Barnett's a total punt play. I mean, but you just know that's boom bust.
Yeah, that's a punt play. That's a crazy punt play.
Yeah. Then Sands road to the Man Series 7.5. I think that number's a little high.
Yeah, I say 5.5 is the number.
3-fighter single entry core. So I'll tell you, for me, it's Aspinall, Volkov, Walker.
Aspinall, Volkov, Walker. I say Aspinall, Walker, Park. That's where I'll go.
Blue Collar Studios just asked the same question. Goes, if building 6 to 8 lineups, do you lock your core or just build differently around them?
I think the days of locking people outside of like really free squares, I think they're done. With the Sims, all the Sims tools that like Stochastic has to offer, and just Sims in general, I think like you should see how ROI boosts work, and how it just doesn't make sense to box yourself out, because you can end up just getting leverage on the field other ways. You know what I mean? And and then when that guy loses, now you're pissed off. So
for me personally, if I'm just building 6 to 8 lineups, I would probably have my core 3 in. Let's just say you're doing 8 lineups. I would say 3 to 4 of my lineups I have my core 3 in. But also I think it's what type of contest are you playing in? I think that's the other side to that equation. You know, what type of contest are you in? You know, is it a single entry? Is it a big GPP field? If it's a big GPP field, you know, these 150 max, and you're only throwing 2-3 lineups in there, I tend to just try to get crazy.
Yeah, I mean, so sometimes, right? Like last week, sometimes I say my core, and then they end up being the worst plays of the slate. You know, so it's like, who did I say last week? And I was like, so confident. Oh, it's freaking Cody Gibson.
Yeah. He got,
and then he went out there and got smoked.
Yeah, I mean, but the way to be different today, and let's just say you're in the 150 max in the big GPP on DraftKings, get away from the main event, co-main event. That is the way to get different. Now, it's kind of concerning, especially when you look at that co-main event, likely goes 25 minutes. Yeah. But if you're looking to get away from ownership, that is a great way to get away from ownership.
It is. I think it's a danger. I think if anything, I'd get away from the main event. I think the co-main event's a necessity.
And you always talk about this. Prioritize underdogs in the main event, co-main event.
Yeah, exactly. And I just want everybody to know that the Patreon's up. So if you guys were looking for my data and spreadsheet and all that, I just posted it. So it's completely up there right now. And on that, I have some interesting takedown numbers for a lot of people too. Where in a 15-minute fight, how many takedowns would they attempt? Any idea what in a 15-minute fight, based on UFC stats, how many takedowns Quillen 𝐲𝐽 will attempt against 𝗲𝗲 𝘲𝐽 if he decides to do that? Any idea?
Well, I know he had one fight where he had 0 takedowns. I know that.
Correct.
But the other two, he had 9 takedowns against 𝐾𝐲𝐬𝐬𝐜 on the Contender Series. Then of course he had the knockout in 19 seconds. Kind of hard to really take anything out of that. But then he had 8 takedowns in his last matchup. I mean, look, that would clearly be a great path for him to go there if he's going to be as like Samuel likes to say, takedown king.
If he goes to the takedowns based on his UFC stats, he will attempt 22 takedowns if he does not find a finish. That is a damn high number, bro. That is a high number. That's ridiculous.
Mentioned Sammy goes, I will say 2 core plays, but you still need to cap them. Talking about the previous question there. Over in the score, Lil D says, am I crazy being heavy on 𝗲𝗁𝘁?
I will tell you that I'm the same guy that bet 𝗲𝗁 and 𝗁𝗁𝘁 to beat 𝗲𝗁𝘁, and 𝗲𝗁 was beating him until the final moments, or round 3, the flying knee. I think that he can kind of be in a lull at times. I think 𝗁𝗁𝘁 can kind of be in a lull at times too, where they just go leg kick for leg kick, single shots against each other. I don't think it really produces a big score, but 𝗲𝗁𝘁's got that left hand, that power in that left hand, and Ankalaev was hitting 𝗁𝗁𝘁 with as many left hands as he wanted. So I think it's a nice way to get different. 𝗲𝗁𝘁 is the underdog despite being priced at 8,300. But now, according to the live line. So I think naturally you'll have some leverage.
Daniel says, thoughts on Max 1, Raposo, Barnett, Sutherland, Batista. I don't mind that at all. Yeah, depending on how many lines you're building.
Yeah, I would definitely max that at 1. And let us know in the chat right now if you really like the live before locks with us, or kind of leading up to the, leading right up to the fights. I mean, if we can pull it off, Jason and I may like this format a little bit better. But yeah, I mean, we got a ton of people in here. Thank you guys so much. You can hit that like button, get us over 150 likes. That'd be great. And if you can subscribe, that would be even better. Yeah.
So sometimes, especially this time of year, it can be tough just because of my travel schedule here. Just haven't worked out today since I don't get to play until later on today. Best leverage play. We kind of went over those leverage plays. If I was going to label someone above all, I think it's Ludwig Klein.
I think so too.
Yeah. Best takedown upside, man. You just mentioned a great candidate a second ago.
I mean, that is if he goes to that well. And let me tell you why I think he might. Nasrat's got quick hands. He's gonna be touching 𝗀𝗁𝘁𝐽 up. So it's just like, all right, man, you gotta switch it up. You gotta go to the takedowns. And then like somebody else with high amount of takedowns that I have is Jailton Almeida. Attempts 11 in a 15-minute fight. So. Yeah. I think both of those make sense, and I think maybe some people aren't aware that 𝗀𝗁𝘁𝐽 can attempt that many, and he just blends it all together.
Yeah, ranking the 9K options, you got a ton of 9K options. I think Aswell has to be option number 1 just because of the takedown upside, and maybe potentially it lasts 2 or 3 rounds in terms of that one. Number 2 for me, I would go Walker. I'm scared to say is Hamdy number 3.
That's what I mean. I mean, he shouldn't lose this fight. I mean, this is a layup of all layups.
Yeah. I mean, then after that, it's kind of, I expect Umar and Jacqueline both to win. I just don't know if Umar's got a great DFS upside unless he gets the finish. And the one thing we didn't talk about Batista is I just love the training room he's in. At the lab. A lot of quality 35ers in that room.
Yeah. Agreed. Very, very underappreciated team.
Especially at 35. Especially at 35. That may be one of the most underrated band. I don't know. I think for people who truly follow where do guys train at, I think that people do understand how good that room is, but maybe from the outside in, people don't realize how good that room is at the lab.
Yeah, it's like when I have American top team fighters on the card, like I'm going to favor them significantly.
It's
Umar Nurmagomedov, a part of Team Khabib. You just saw Usman Nurmagomedov make significant changes in his fight against Paul Hughes, and if Umar's able to push a higher pace at 9,600, he could ragdoll Batista if he chooses to. It all comes down to and maybe him asking Dana White and getting that validation of like, will I get a title shot if I put on a good performance? Dana White's always going to say, yeah, go out there and make it undeniable. But you know what I mean? Like,
well, I think the other side of that equation, and it's going to be an issue that I think that I was watching an interview Dana did with what's it, TNT Sports out of the UK, where when you look at Tom Aspinall, he already has wins over 5 of the 10 fighters in the top 10. This would be number 6.
Wow.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, yeah, because the thing at bantamweight right now, and this is why Umar's really in a good position, is if Merab gets through Jan in December, Umar really is the next guy. I mean, you got O'Malley's the number 1 contender. Jan's at 2. Then you got Sandhagen, Song Yadong, Deiveson Figueiredo, 𝐒𝐻𝐻𝐵 is number 7. It's just
Merab's in a category of his own, and that division. It's like Umar will get a title shot soon, in hopes that he ends up winning in the UFC. It'd be like, all right, that's awesome. Real quick, I just wanted to highlight Coach S again. Thank you so much for the support. You're very, very, very generous. Thank you guys so much. Danny Coffee, thank you so much. Really appreciate you as well. Eli Hoffman, appreciate you as well. Samuel Campana, thank you so much, guys. Really, this was great. I mean, I enjoyed doing these live shows. It's been a minute since we've done one.
It has been.
Jason and I mean, how long's it been? It's got to be like 4 years.
Yeah. Probably. Yeah. I think ever since we started Fight HQ, I don't know if we've done the whole right before. Maybe once, maybe twice.
Yeah, maybe.
Very rare.
I mean, I personally like this. I wouldn't be against doing 2 shows a week. Now that my schedule's a little bit easier, kind of. I mean, I'm still working like crazy, but I know Jason's busy too. And let me tell you, real quick, shout out to Jason's team. They're looking damn good. And even if they're getting injury riddled and all this and that, I mean, Baker, I'm impressed. I'm impressed with Baker.
Yeah, I'll be getting on the plane here in a couple hours at New Orleans tomorrow for 4:05 time frame over there. Samuel goes, another topic. Any thoughts on next year's White House possible fights? I would be relatively surprised if Peloton is not one of the fighters in the main event.
I'll tell you who it's going to be. They're going to have Aspinall on it, some shape or form. They're going to have Alex Pereira. They're going to have Conor McGregor, if they can pull it off, if they can kind of go through these loopholes. And then I really do think that John Jones would get that shot too. I don't care what Dana says.
I think their ideal scenario is Tom Jones. I think that's the ideal main event for that one. I think if people did not see Conor, a very interesting comments yesterday. It sounds like he has found religion.
Hey, good. He needs something.
You know, I was watching the documentary that's over on Uncrowned about BKFC, and when I'm looking at Conor, I'm sitting there going, can this guy make 170? I mean, he looks massive right now.
Yeah.
I mean, he looks massive.
He's a short guy, though. He is very short. People don't realize he's a short guy.
Yeah. I mean, I think him versus, by the way, Pete, Ronda Rousey, no, I do not want to see her come back.
Yeah. I mean, she definitely could be an option, but oof.
I'll say this right now. Who could she beat right now in the top 10?
Yeah, not many.
I mean,
hey, real quick, did Amanda Nunes and Kayla Harrison, is that like a date that's set, or is that like a potential? That's probably a fight. That's a fight that'll be on that damn card too.
Yeah, I also, I mean, yeah, look, I think there's going to be a lot of fighters who are going to be looking to get on that card. A potential issue with that card, though, is will there be notable fighters who can't pass Secret Service security?
Oh, yeah.
That is an aspect of that card that's going to be and
Wow.
Dana White's already kind of commented about that, of understanding that they know that's going to be an issue.
Yeah, we know a couple people that are definitely not going to be on that card.
Yeah, there is some fighters I think that won't be a part of that.
Wow.
Nunes Harrison I think would be a fight that would make a ton of sense for that card. I mean, the question ultimately is whether does someone want to wait that long?
Right. It is a long time. Jason, real quick, I kind of want to tell you what my lineup is today. Okay. I went with Tom Aspinall. I went with Vernon Janaroba, Delgado, Walter Walker, Quillen Salkeld, and then my last piece was Jin Young Park. And let me tell you, everybody in my freaking lineup is loaded with ownership. Listen to this. This is like the chalkiest lineup in the world. I've never seen this. 62% Tom Aspinall, 30% Jin Young Park, 47% Vernon Janaroba, 33% Delgado, 36% Quillen Salkeld, 38% Walter Walker. I've never seen that. The lowest person I have on my lineup is 30% owned. Call me Mr. Chalk, I guess. I don't.
You're no longer
Have you
the
ever
Heat.
seen that?
You're no longer the Heat. You're Mr. Chalk.
Mr. Chalk. Dude, that's terrible. I'm going to split with like a billion people.
Yeah. It's but I'll say this, man. I love some afternoon MMA, early morning MMA. It's always kind of a nice thing. And of course, it's not your traditional pay per view. By the way, all you gotta do is have ESPN Plus or I have ESPN Unlimited now, so
Cool.
I get everything on ESPN. It's really nice.
I'm over the ESPN thing. I don't know if it's a me problem, but my app on my TV is I'll end up watching it, and then when they have the commercials come through, next thing you know, I'm behind. So it's like every time there's a commercial,
So
it's ridiculous.
Do you have Disney Plus?
I do.
Go on the Disney Plus app. So it's all
Really?
it's all connected. So as long as your Disney Plus account and ESPN Plus account are the same email,
Yeah.
it's all connected. So for me, so I have the Disney Plus, Hulu, ESPN Unlimited bundle.
Yeah.
So literally on the ESPN Plus app, or excuse me, on the Disney Plus app, everything's on that app. So you might want to try that.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to do something because ESPN's been pissing me off. I've been over here casting the fights from my phone to the TV, and it's just like I don't know.
I will say this, and like Matt says, ESPN app is such garbage. I will say this. On a computer, I have so much issues with it. If I watch it on the Fire Stick or the Apple TV, I don't have those issues.
Yeah, could be a me problem. I live out in the sticks too, so but I don't know. When I'm on my phone with the same internet, I'm not having a problem. So I don't know what the hell the issue is.
Yeah. All I say is this: we hit 2026. I think we're saving a lot of money with everything being on Paramount Plus. So, especially if they're truly not going to do the traditional pay per view as everyone tends to believe. So, but as always, we appreciate everyone who tunes in for every episode of the podcast. Is there a UFC card this next week? This is.
Can you believe my lineup? The lowest person I have is 30% owned. I've never seen that.
We do have a fight card next Saturday. I'm just going to tell you the main event. You tell me where the fight is. Steve Garcia versus David Onama.
Oh, stop, man.
That is your main event. You want to know what your co-main event is?
Is it a male fight or female fight?
It's a female fight. Waldo Cortez Acosta against Ante Delija, who, by the way, training partner of Tom Aspinall. And Tom Aspinall said this week, if he gets to a position where he could fight for the title, Aspinall would vacate the title. He would not fight his teammate.
So what's Aspinall going to do? Retire?
I don't know.
Ante Delija is nasty. I've been following him since PFL. He's very, very good.
Yeah. You look at next week, Jeremiah Wells, Thimba Garembo, Dogarian's back against Del Valle. Yeah, this is Apex card written all over it.
Yeah, crazy. All right, Jason.
Hey, Cedric Dumas is back next week, so apparently his groin's okay.
How does he have a job?
That is a damn good question.
Yeah, I don't.
He definitely would not be on the White House card.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I mean, this guy's had more opportunities than anybody I've ever met.
He ain't passing.
I mean, he's got that Sam Alvey treatment. It's just like, how is this guy still here? But at least Sam Alvey's a good guy.
Well,
Dumas is not.
I think if you have a fighting style they like and you're willing to take fights any time, I think those are guys who
I don't think Alvey has a style that anybody likes, but I agree with you. He always said yes. So
yeah, that is a big thing. So, but as always, appreciate everyone tunes in for every episode of the Fight HQ podcast, and we'll be back here next week to talk about that UFC Apex card. Oh my god.
Thanks for joining us today. This was fun. I enjoy this a lot more. I didn't enjoy not having the sheet ready, but I really enjoyed engaging with people. So it was kind of like good times.
Next weekend's a Bucks bye week. Could I not get a better UFC card on the Bucks bye week? Seriously.
Yeah, that's a shitty card.
Oh man, unfortunately, I think we're gonna get more of these cards in 2026. I just have a gut feeling on that one. But that's gonna do it for this episode. Hopefully, 321 is great fights, and we'd love to see those winning lineups for you in our Discord chat. So we'll talk to you next week.